Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on? Well, the markets have come down a little bit, right? They're sitting right on their 20-day moving average, at least the NASDAQ and the S&P. They're trying to hold on to the 20-day. Now, if they drop below that, there's a lot of room to the downside that they're going to be moving. Now, my take is right now, I actually think they're going to hold that 20-day. And I think that the NASDAQ's going to try to bounce back up and make a double top before we come down. Now, we could break right through and just start the downward bear market right now. That's a possibility, but my take is that we're going to bounce up higher and try to form a double top on the NASDAQ. Once we get to that double top, that's where I'll be looking to short the market and betting that it's going to come down to the downside in what's known as a bear market. Now, a lot of you young people, you've never seen a bear market. We haven't had one for, 16 years or so. So I'm looking for a double top, and then I'm looking for the bear market. Now, what we have seen is what's called a crack up boom, right? Crack up boom is where the market just keeps going higher and higher and higher. Now, could it do another crack up boom from here? Yes, absolutely it could, but that's not my take. My take is a double top, and then we start the bear market. You see, I actually think the NASDAQ has already put in a top, but we may come up and test that high again. It's called a topping pattern. A lot of times you come up and retest before you go lower. All right, so what have we seen? What's been outperforming the stock market? Well, it's been doing it for over 20 years. It'd be the gold market. Now, it's fascinating to me. A lot of people don't understand the gold market, and I mean, that's perfectly explainable. I mean, a lot of people, they don't own any gold, so they want it to go down. Maybe they listen to Harry Dent. He said gold will come down to $1,000. And I would love to see that. I'd love to get some at 1,000. I have some I bought at 1,000, but it's gone up to 2,700 now. See, gold is overbought right now. Probably a pullback. Maybe we get to 2,500. Maybe we even come down below 2,500. But that's about the biggest pullback I see right now. Now, the gentleman's trying to explain to me that gold is very expensive compared to the stock market. That would not be my take at all. You see, I think the Dow Jones, which is 42,000, right? I think it's going to go 1-to-1 with gold. Gold 2,700, Dow 42,000. I think they'll meet in the middle somewhere. Maybe 10,000, maybe 20,000. I think the stock market is what you're going to see starting to come in, and gold is still going to explode higher. But be careful because it is overbought, may pull back before we head a lot higher. Now, I want to explain some of the workings as to why gold is just starting this big bull run. It's not even, we're still in the infancy stage. And that's what people don't get. Let me explain what's going on. All right, so you got the central banks all around the world, right? They're the ones that are buying gold. They're buying gold. Now, what's the number one asset that central banks own? Well, it would still be the dollar. It'd still be our bonds, our debt. They own our debt, right? They still own the dollar. 54% of central banks' asset around the world, 54% are owned by dollars, right? They're owned with dollars. Okay. Now, this used to be 70%, but that was back in the 1990s. So the dollar is already dwindling from 70% ownership in the central banks to only 54% of their assets are now owned by the dollar. Okay, now what are they shifting to? They're starting to shift to gold. Now, in the last couple of years, the central banks, they bought $80 billion of gold. Now, what have they done to buy it? Well, they got rid of their dollars, right? So 80 billion now, you say, but Mike, 80 billion is nothing. You're correct. They have $8 trillion of dollars, 8 trillion of them, right? And they've only converted 80 billion into gold. That's 1%. So 8 trillion, they converted 80 billion into gold. So they converted 1% of their dollar holdings into gold. Okay, all right. And that's pushed gold up to record highs, right? Now just think if they were to do 5%, if they were to convert just 5% of their dollars. You see, what they're finding out is the dollar is becoming worthless because, well, we're the reserve currency and we're not very good at it. We don't respect it. We use it as a weapon against Russia. We'll use it as a weapon against anyone that upsets us. So other countries are seeing this. And it's also losing its value. Why is it losing its value? Because we're continuing to print them, right? We print them about $4 or $5 trillion a year get printed, right? We print them, and the value goes down. So the central banks, they're not idiots, right? I mean, some of them are, maybe ours is, but most central banks around the world, they kind of get a clue as to what's going on, and they see the dollar value going like this. They see gold value going like this. They start and think, maybe I should switch some of these dollars into gold so it can start going up again. And so that's what they're doing. So, okay, so let's say that they just switched out 5%. You see, they want to get something of value for their dollars because they know the dollar is going to zero. They got a clue. If they don't have a clue, I can tell them the dollar is going to zero. Every fiat currency in the history of the world always goes to zero. But Mike, we're the United States of America. We got weapons. We're going to blow up any country that won't use our dollars. And maybe that's how we're going to do it. Maybe that's how the world comes to an end, with us blowing everybody up because they're getting out of the dollar. They form the BRICS. The BRICS are meeting this month in October, and they're going to come out with an announcement about the unit. Their dollar is called the unit. It's going to be backed by gold. And I do think that there'll be an announcement this month. Now, that's going to send gold higher, even higher than it is now. But let's just say that the central banks convert 5% of their dollars into gold, right? And they've already done 1%. Let's say they do another 4%. Where will that push gold to? Well, that would push gold up to 10,000, probably, and beyond 10,000. Now, what they did 20%, you're at $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for gold. People, you got to understand, the dollar's going to zero. The central banks own 8 trillion of them. The only thing they want is gold. But Mike, they could get Bitcoin. Don't they want Bitcoin? I don't think they do. Look, just in the past 3 years, Bitcoin is down 40% compared to gold. 40% Bitcoin's down in just 3 years. Now, you want to go out 6 years, probably be down 80% compared to gold. Now, I know nobody wants to hear that. You got the religious zealots in there and their Bitcoin. That's their religion, and that's fine. You know, that's fine. They can hold on to their Bitcoin, those digits on the screen, and that's where, I actually think our government wants them in that. I don't think our government wants them in physical assets. Physical assets are going to be really hard to get, and they're getting harder to get. I mean, I'm having trouble buying gold. I'm having trouble buying silver. My coin guy's getting 100 calls. People want to buy, but nobody's selling to them. So it's getting harder to get, and the premiums are starting to increase again. And, well, it's just getting harder to get. Now, Bitcoin, anybody can get Bitcoin. Sits right at 60,000. Not even volatile anymore. Kind of depressing, it just sits there, 60,000, 58, 60,000, 62, 60,000. It's just really become boring. I used to like to gamble in it, but it's not moving enough to gamble in it these days. But anyways, I like Bitcoin. It's a great gambling mechanism, and when it's moving, it's not moving. It'll start moving again in fear. It's going to start moving to the downside, going to upset a lot of the Bitcoiners. I mean, they're expecting $1 million of Bitcoin. Well, maybe they thought they were going to do that this year. I don't think they're going to get there, but that's just my take. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But what you got is the central banks converting their dollars into gold, right? Because gold's going up, dollars going down. So they took 1%. Now if they do 5%, we're going to be at $10,000 for the price of gold. So gold's got a long way to go still. And that's just one aspect of gold. The other aspect is, well, it's inflation, and gold is spoken. Gold is screaming at you. Here's what gold has told us, right? Gold's told us that inflation is not dead. Inflation's going to come roaring back. Now here's what is dead. The dollar bill. The dollar bill is dying, already dead, but it's still got some confidence. As soon as that confidence is gone, it goes straight to zero, right? Okay, so the dollar's dying. Inflation's coming soaring back. You don't see it yet because they're reporting they got inflation. They say, I don't buy these numbers, but they say it was up at 9 when it was at 20, and they say it was down to 3 now when we're really up around 8. Okay, well, they can call it whatever they want, I mean, they change definitions definitions all the time. They change the definition of even what inflation is. Inflation used to be defined as the printing of money, but they changed the definition to increase in prices. That would be inflation. It's actually printing money was the original definition, but they didn't like that because the government prints money, so they don't like that definition. So they got to get rid of that definition, and we can blame it on the corporations when those prices go up. You see, we're not in a recession now, and if we were, we'd just change the definition of what a recession is. You see, there was a way they used to measure inflation back in the 80s, right? But that didn't work for them because inflation's still going up at a rapid pace. So we have to take food out of there. We have to take gas out of there. We have to measure it a different way so we can tell you it's only 3%. Well, why is 3% good? It's still going up. Prices aren't going down. Look at just in the last 4 years, you've lost 25 to 30% of your purchasing power. That's not coming back. You're not going to get that back. So that's still going up. Maybe we're going up at a slower rate. I might give them that, but we're still going up. This administration has robbed you of 30% of your purchasing power, right? Now, the next administration, oh, heaven forbid, it depends. They're both terrible. Look, you got one that's bad and you got one that's worse. Okay. I mean, there's no good thing. We're very lacking leadership in this country. It's very sad to see that. You see, I mean, I don't even get it. You know, they're not even talking about the debt. Like it's not even an issue on this election, okay? Because they're both going to spend into oblivion. They're both going to continue to print money, right? So you're going to have inflation come roaring back. So I predict in the next 4 years, you're going to lose 50%. 50% of your purchase power. We lost 25% in the last 4. Going forward, not another 25%, another 50% of your purchasing power on top of the 25% that you already lost. And that's not coming back, but they're going to destroy this at a more rapid pace. They have to keep everything from crumbling down, right? They have to keep it from falling. They have to keep assets propped up. In order to do that, they have to print money at a faster and faster clip and inflate at a faster and faster clip. You see, the Federal Reserve, you know, they don't really serve me and you. They don't serve me and you. Who do they serve? Who's their main client? Well, it's actually the banking system. They serve the banks, right? They don't want those banks falling over. And they also serve the elite people in the world, not just in the United States. Our Federal Reserve, they work for the elite people. Now, shouldn't they be working for me and you, the people? Now, that's what I say. You know, we can take the power away from them by getting into real money, getting into gold and silver, pulling your money out of the system. Do it slowly. Pull some out, buy a little silver. Silver is cheap here still, what, $32? That's a bargain. 1980, it was $50. But Mike, why would I buy something that was $50 is down to $32? Because it's a bargain. Now, here's the thing. You got a gold-silver ratio, right? It's about 85 to 1. 85 to 1. That's interesting. I think that's going to come down to 15 to 1. 1.5 to 1. And that's going to really shift this move in the silver market, right? It's going to push silver into triple digits, way past 100. That'd be a triple from here. And I definitely think that's going to happen within the next 4 years, right? You want to triple your money in less than 4 years. Personally, I think silver's a lock, but that's just my opinion. You do whatever you want to do. My opinion is buy silver because it's going to triple in the next 4 years. You're going to see triple digit silver. That's my call. And that's what I believe, right? And that's why I'm stacking silver. I'm stacking gold. I'm getting out of the system. I'm getting into the real money. That's just the way I'm doing it, you see, because I see what's going on. Central banks around the world, they don't want the dollar anymore. Where are the dollars going to go? They're going to flood back into the United States. What's that going to do? It's going to send inflation higher, send the prices of everything higher. We got a port strike going on right now, right? We're in day 3 or something. Okay, maybe they resolved it. Maybe they resolve it overnight. I don't know. But as longer it extends, the higher the prices are going to go, right? Because you can't get the stuff. So the stuff that we have, they're going to raise the prices on. That's just the way it's going to play out. So you're going to have inflation come roaring back. You see, gold is talking to us. You know, 26, 2,700, gold's telling you. It's telling you inflation is not dead. Inflation is out there. Inflation's going to come roaring back. People are flooding into gold. What are they getting out of it? Apparently, they're getting out of that Bitcoin thing, right? Apparently, they're going to start to get out of the stock market. I'm telling you, Dow Jones, 42,000, gold, 2,700. They're going to become 1-to-1. What's the average price home in America? 420,000. I say 500 ounces. 500 ounces of silver will get you that average price home in America. That's my take, right? So at $32, you put $15,000 into silver, put it in a box, hide it somewhere. Hide it. People might take it from you, right? You got to have a little bit of security because that's going to become valuable. So you hide it, but you can trade that for the average price home. Now, once again, this is just my take. A lot of people think homes are going to double. They think silver is going to go back to $5. You know, I was buying silver at $5. Oh man, I wish I could get some at $5 today. That would be incredible. Anyways, if you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. We reached the weekend. It's the weekend. Everybody get out there. Have a great weekend. Punch the subscribe button because I want to talk to you again next week. Bye-bye now.